Floods. Floods are caused by three factors. So, floods are caused by three factors. So, which are these three factors? Cloud burst. First is cloud burst. Bursting of clouds, breaking of clouds, cloud burst, break down suddenly and violently, cloud burst. Second is monsoon depression, depression that caused by monsoon, that is monsoon depression, cyclonic storm, something like that, cyclonic disturbance we say, that is monsoon depression. Then tropical cyclones, tropical cyclones. These are the three factors for floods. Tropical cyclones, a rapidly rotating storm, that is tropical cyclones. So, these are the three factors for floods: cloud burst, monsoon depression and cloud burst, monsoon depression, tropical cyclones. So, these are the three factors for floods. Then, of late, deforestation and soil erosion are also causing floods. Another reason of causing floods are deforestation, means cutting of trees. Deforestation. Nowadays, cutting of trees, it has been increased a lot. Cutting of trees by human beings, human activities for clearing the forest and making buildings and all. So, cutting of forest or deforestation. Then another reason is soil erosion. Soil erosion. These are another reasons for floods, occurring floods, causing floods. Soil erosion means what? The destruction and removal of this rocks and soils. Because of heavy rain, what happens, this they carries away the nutrients from the soil, that is soil erosion. So, because of cutting of trees, this soil erosion is also occurring, and because of that floods are happening. India depends for its rain on both the monsoons. So, India they depends on monsoons, okay, southwestern and northeastern. Southwestern in India, if you hang a map of India here, then the upper portion is north, below it is south, here it is east, and this part is west. So, the southwest means here southwest, then northeast. So, both the monsoon, southwestern and northeastern monsoon. The southwest monsoon starts in May and continue up to the end of September. So, southwest monsoon, it starts in the month of May and it ends in the month of September. The northeast monsoon starts in November. Northeast monsoon starts in the month of November and continues up to the middle of January. So, India depends on both these monsoons, depends on this rain. Heavy rain caused as an account of these three seasons referred to result in the overflow of rivers. If there is heavy rain, what happens? There will be overflow in the rivers. Because of heavy rain, overflow of rivers. The major rivers that cause floods in India are the Ganges. Okay, this is the river that cause floods in India, Ganges, and its tributaries. Tributaries are Brahmaputra and Kaveri. Brahmaputra and which river? Godavari, not Kaveri, Godavari. So, the river Ganges and its tributaries Brahmaputra and Godavari. These are the major rivers that cause floods in India. The problem has become severe now. The problem has increased now, became so severe, so serious now on account of deforestation. Because of cutting of trees, the problem has become more now, and deposition of soils in the beds, when sediments, rocks, soil get added and it go and deposit in the land. Yes, so these are the main reasons for floods. The main three factors for floods means they are cloud burst, monsoon depression and tropical cyclones. These are the three main factors for the floods to occur. Then another reasons are deforestation, cutting of trees and soil erosion. Because of that floods are occurring more. And in India always depends on monsoon season for getting rain. Yes, so because of heavy rain, what is happening? There is overflow in the rivers, and the major rivers that cause floods in India, they are Ganges and its tributaries, they are Brahmaputra and Godavari. And the problem now became more serious because of deforestation, cutting of trees. When heavy rains fall in catchment areas, they led to soil erosion, and the fertile alluvial soil is washed off and deposited in the riverbed. So what is happening when there is heavy rains? Because of heavy rains, the heavy rain, it is washing away all the nutrients of the soil. So soil is losing its quality, its fertility. And what has happened? It washed off and it is deposited where? In the river beds, the channel where the river flows. This sometimes this helps some countries. How? For example, the deposit left by Nile. Nile is a river in Egypt. Okay, the deposit Nile river it's a river in Egypt. So what happens once deposit left by Nile has helped Egypt. When this happened, heavy rain happened, it washed away all the nutrients, all the rocks, all the soil, and it deposited in the river bed of the Nile. It helped Egypt. How? That because of that soil, it increased the fertility of the soil, and it helped the people to grow more crops over there. Along the Nile river, soil is rich and good for growing crops. But every time this won't happen. It helped once the country Egypt. Because of that, they could cultivate more crops. Soil became good, but every time this is not happens. So, but it is not so in case of all rivers either in India or in China. Yes, it never happens. All that doesn't happens every time in here and there or India or China. When floods occur, they inundate low-lying areas by the sides of rivers and cause huge loss of life, crops and other properties. When there is heavy rain or when there is floods, what happens? Yes, it covers most area of the land with water, and it causes damage to or loss of life. It causes damage to crops. Crop failure will happen. So when floods are there, what happens? Because of that, it led to soil erosion, means it washes away all the nutrients of the soil. It loses actually the fertility of the soil. But in some cases, like river Nile in Egypt, what happened once? Yes, along the Nile river, soil is rich and good. It became so good for cultivating crops. But at times it happened in Egypt, but it won't happen in rivers of India and China. When floods occur, what happens normally? The area full covered with water, the land covers full with water, and it causes huge damage to the life and property, and even it causes the crop failure also. Cloud burst. Second reason is first reason is cloud burst. I told the breaking of clouds, strongly or violently the breaking of clouds. It means highly concentrated rainfall in a particular area. In a particular area, there will be heavy rainfall. That is called cloud burst. Heavy, strong rain, violently, which is far above normal. It is much more than the normal rain. This usually happens in places like Rajasthan in India. So this cloud burst mostly happens in some places like Rajasthan. Okay, Rajasthan in India it happens. Then Moreover, depressions occur both in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So, Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Most of the time this depressions happens, cyclonic problems happens mainly here in Arabian Sea and in Bay of Bengal. They are more frequent in Bay of Bengal. Among Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, more it happens in Bay of Bengal. At least 20 depressions occur every year between May and September in different parts of Bay of Bengal. At least 20 depressions means 20 cyclonic storms happened in the month between May and September in different parts of Bay of Bengal. These depressions results in heavy rain. Because of this depression causing by monsoons, what happens? Heavy rains occurs in coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Bengal, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Coastal areas where people that stay near the river or lakes or seas, coastal area, there what happens? This heavy rains. The depressions caused in the Arabian Sea help rains in Gujarat, Rajasthan and South Himalayan parts. So, the depression that happened in Arabian Sea helps rains in Gujarat and all, but depression happens in Bay of Bengal. What happens? It causes heavy rains in the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Bengal and Uttar Pradesh. So, people get more problem when there is heavy rain, especially people in the coastal areas. The people, those who are staying in the islands or in the near to the river or sea and all. That is actually cloud burst, highly concentrated rain, or we say the rain that is heavier than the normal rain. When it happens, depressions occurs. In Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, mostly it occurs in Bay of Bengal. So, when many depressions that happened in Bay of Bengal, it caused heavy rains in some part of the states in India, and the depression that caused in Arabian Sea, it helped rains in Gujarat and Rajasthan and other South Himalayan parts. That is cloud burst, heavy rainfall. However, with the construction of dams on almost all rivers, intensity of floods has been checked. Because we are constructing dams in almost all rivers, this intensity of flood, the depth of the floods, we can measure it, we can check it. So, it is a good thing that we are constructing dam in almost all the rivers. The other rivers which are overflowing now are likely to be harnessed soon. The other rivers which are overflowing, we can control that overflow soon. Floods may not be a serious problem to us. The heavy deforestation is causing alarm. Floods is not that much serious problem, but deforestation is a very serious problem facing us. Because of cutting of trees, because of that soil erosion is happening, because of that we are getting this floods are occurring. So, that first we have to control that deforestation. It has to be checked. We have to control that first. Dams and canals linking all rivers in the country is a necessity. If we are constructing dam in almost all the rivers, so dams and canals interlinking, the linking of both the dams and canals between all the rivers in the country, it is very important necessity. For example, a canal linking Ganges with Kaveri, the river Ganga and river Kaveri, there is a canal linking both these rivers. It would solve this problem. Yes, so there should be interlinking of all the rivers in India. What is the purpose of that? It helps farmers for irrigation, means for cultivation of crops they need water supply, irrigation. So, for that they do not want to depend upon the rain always. If there is interlinking of rivers, it helps farmers to grow crops. At the same time, when there is excess flow of water, flood, it can control, and if there is no water, scarcity of water, lack of water in some areas, that also we can control. So, interlinking of rivers has more benefits. So, there should be interlinking of all the rivers in India. It can solve the problem. The cyclones are more dangerous as they are combined with high speed winds. Cyclones means they are more dangerous. This tropical cyclones, monsoon depression, This is monsoon depression. We have learned now tropical cyclones. Cyclones, a very high wind, high speed wind it is. A cyclonic storm with the forming of an eye may take any direction. Yes, the cyclonic storm means that that's high speed wind that can flow in any direction. The high speed winds which starts a cyclone cause more damage than the accompanying floods. Yes, floods than the floods. It means along with the high speed wind, floods also will be, but the cyclonic wind or the heavy storm, it cause more damage than this floods actually. It will do something that causes so much of harm, that is cyclonic storm, the high speed wind. The Odisha super cyclone of 1999, the super cyclone of Odisha super cyclone, it happened in the year 1999 in Odisha. The super cyclone was one of the worst cyclones to have hit India. Means it damaged, it caused a huge harm. That's why it is called the worst cyclone that hit India. Then it claimed more than 10,000 lives. Many people suffered, got problem or damage happens to more than 10,000 people and shattered the lives of millions. Millions died. Those who survived this cyclone felt that the dead were more fortunate, revealing the intensity of suffering of the survivors. See, those who survived, those who didn't die, they felt that those who died, they are lucky, they were telling. Why? Because of the suffering, still they are suffering. Lifelong they were suffering because of the cyclonic effect. So they were telling, or they felt those who died, they are actually lucky people than them. Because of the intensity of suffering, that much suffering, they suffered a lot after the cyclonic effect. So Odisha super cyclone, it was in 1999, it was the worst cyclone that hit India. Yes, so that's about floods. So floods are caused by three factors: cloud burst, monsoon depression, then tropical cyclones. Breaking of clouds. So breaking of clouds, what we learned is, yes, it means heavy rain far above the normal rain. So it usually happens in places like Rajasthan in India, and more than that, depressions also occur. Monsoon depression that caused by monsoon. Mainly it occurs in Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So it is more frequent in Bay of Bengal, more likely to happen in Bay of Bengal, and because of that, what happened? Heavy rains in coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and all. And the depression caused in Arabian Sea, it helped rains in Gujarat, Rajasthan and all. Yes. Then we learn that because of this high rain, heavy rain, what is happening? Major rivers in India that cause floods. It causes floods, overflowing of rivers. So the major rivers that cause floods in India are Ganges and its tributaries, Brahmaputra and Godavari. And because of this heavy rains, what is happening? Yes, they are washing away all the nutrients of the soil and they get deposited in the river beds, the channel of the river, and the soil is actually losing the fertility. But in some at times, what is happening? It helps some countries like river Nile in Egypt. Along the Nile, soil became so good and it helps the farmers to grow crops over there, but it doesn't happen mostly in rivers of India and China. When floods occur, what is happening? That area, that land completely fills with water and it causes huge loss of life and property. Then construction of dams in almost all the river. Because of that, we can measure the depth of the floods. Intensity of floods can be checked because of that. And other rivers which are overflowing also, that we can control. So dams and canals should be should be the interlinking of rivers in India. The purpose of that is to control the overflowing of the rivers, excess flow we can control. If there is no water, lack of water problem we can control, and we can give good irrigation facility, water supply to farmers. So interlinking of rivers, it will solve the problem. And cyclones, tropical cyclones have a great, it means it's a high speed wind, and it can flow in any direction, and it cause more damage than the floods. What is example given is the Odisha cyclone in 1999. It was the worst cyclone that hit India. It takes away, took millions of lives, and those who survived from that, they felt that the people, those who died during the cyclone time, they were actually lucky, because that much these people were suffered after the cyclonic effect. Yes, so that is about the floods. Yes, children, so we learned about the natural calamities like earthquake, then floods. Next is a familiar term for you. You have recently also maybe you have heard about this natural calamity. Yes, in India also. Yes, it is tsunami. Yes, tsunami. 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 They are actually huge sea waves that occur due to an earthquake. The sea waves will be traveling at high speed. That is tsunami, a huge waves that caused as a result of earthquake or some volcanic eruption under the sea. That is tsunami actually, and they travel with very high speed. In 2004, there was a tsunami in India, and in 2011 in Japan also there was a tsunami that caused destruction, lot of destruction to the life and property of human beings. Okay, tsunami. Tsunami is a Japanese name for harbor waves, generally called tidal waves, but actually tsunami has nothing to do with tides. The rise and fall of the sea waves, that is actually the tides. They move with very high speed, but they have nothing to do with this tides. It's a Japanese name for harbor waves. Harbor waves. It is a Japanese word for harbor waves. Tsunami is a Japanese name for harbor waves. Generally it is called tidal waves, but nothing to do with tides at all. Tsunami is generated when ocean floods shift vertically, usually due to an earthquake. Yes, it's a huge sea waves that occur because of the earthquake under the sea. When a shift in the ocean floor displaces the water above, the water body travels at a very high speed or travels as a huge wave to regain equilibrium, to gain a balancing level. What happens, the sea waves that travel at very high speed. Actually, tsunami is generated as a result of sudden rise or fall of the section of earth crust under the ocean. Yes, so because of an earthquake under the sea, what happens, this huge sea waves occurs, that is actually tsunami, which travels at very high speed. The latest tsunami on 26th December 2004, yes, in India it happens 26th December 2004. There was a tsunami in Indian Ocean and was caused because of an undersea disturbance. There was some disturbance under the sea which was the result of an 8.9 magnitude earthquake. So 8.9 magnitude earthquake means the size of the earthquake. Earthquake we can measure using an instrument called Richter scale. Okay, Richter scale where we used to measure an earthquake. So there it has marked as 8.9 magnitude, means the size of the earthquake they are telling it is 8.9 magnitude. So the earthquake is measuring using this Richter scale. There it measures the size of the earthquake, that they have given it as 8.9 magnitude earthquake just off the northern tip of Indonesia, Sumatra Islands. So it hit the Indonesia and it created a lot of destruction over there. This created a havoc in Indonesia, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka and India. So these are the countries that got caused lot of damage and destruction because of this tsunami. Widespread destruction, we can say, that's called havoc actually. A havoc in Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, means a widespread destruction happened. It is estimated that more than 1 million people, see 1 million people, more than 1 million people lost their lives, and more than this are missing. Many people were missing, and many people, millions of people, they lost their lives, they died, and the total loss must be hundreds of crores. So see children, how much of destruction happened, not only to the life and to the property, even many people were missing and many people died. It's uncountable actually, hundreds of crores of millions of people, they died because of this tsunami. Yes, so tsunami is actually, it's a Japanese name for harbor waves, and sometimes it is called tidal waves also, but it has nothing to do with this tides. They are actually the huge sea waves. Sea waves, when some disturbance happens in the under the sea, the earthquake, because of an earthquake, this huge sea waves arise, and it travels at very high speed and it causes tsunami. Yes, and the latest tsunami that happened in India was in 26th December 2004, which took away many millions of lives and destruction also. Especially it hits Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India and Hong Kong. There a widespread destruction happened. Many lost their lives, many were missing, and total destruction of happened, means the number, they were the total loss they are telling must be hundreds of crores. Yes, that is tsunami, high speed waves, high or huge sea waves because of an earthquake. That is tsunami, Tsunami, tsunami. Okay. So the next natural calamity we are going to learn about is droughts, Droughts. Droughts means no rainfall, because of no rainfall, no water. Droughts are caused on account of scanty rainfall, means very little rainfall or no rainfall at all. But if there is no rainfall, then what happens? There will be water shortage. That is actually drought. It causes damage, it causes problem to crop, for the crop failure. It causes problem for the farmers to grow crops, crop failure. Then people find difficult to live without water. So it creates, because of no crops, what happens? It causes famine, means shortage of food also. This happens mostly on account of vagaries of monsoon which are not under our control. Yes, actually this monsoon, farmers also depends on monsoon, and they need rain for the growing crops. So, but these are not in our hands, isn't it? Yes. They also usually occur in rain shadow areas. So droughts are most commonly were in some parts of India like Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh, Mehboob district of Telangana, and in some districts in Maharashtra and Rajasthan. These are the most places where drought likely to happen. They also can be overcome by adopting scientific methods of conservation of soil. So we can overcome this problem. How we can overcome this problem? By following some scientific methods. Means what? To conserve the soil. We need to conserve the soil. We have to protect the soil. And by constructing check dams, water level could be raised. By constructing dams in the rivers, and it controls the water spread, and it leads to water conservation, and we can improve the land also. Like examples, water harvesting by building small barriers across the direction of water that flows on streams and shallow rivers and all. that is water harvesting, then we can control the water level and we can raise the water level and improve the land, and we can conserve the soil. So these are some scientific methods that we should follow to avoid droughts. This would help to avoid droughts. And as people, what we can do is we can use instead of shower, use bucket of water to bath. Then don't waste water, simply don't open the tap, unnecessarily don't open the tap, and the water that you are using for washing the clothes, instead of throwing it away, you can use it for watering the plants or cleaning the vehicles. And also like that, if we save the water, we can avoid the condition of drought. Yes, so droughts are caused because of no rainfall or little rainfall. That is the problem happens when there is no rain. It results in drought condition. Then farmers won't able to grow crops, crop failure, then no food, then famine, shortage of food. So to control this, there are some areas where this drought happens, occurs mostly, like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So to control that, we should adopt some scientific methods to conserve the soil. Recently, research has developed better methods of agriculture. So recently, some methods are they have adopted to improve the agriculture, the methods of agriculture, even in drought prone areas where the drought is more likely to happen, like Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh, the Mahbub Nagar district in Telangana, then Rajasthan, Maharashtra. These places they adopted some methods to increase the agriculture, the methods for agriculture. The ICRISAT means the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, established at Hyderabad. This ICRISAT is at Hyderabad, is extending immense surveys in this direction. They are giving more large surveys, big surveys to this problem. Hence, we can confidently hope that drought no longer may threaten us. So, because of this ICRISAT, they are providing good service to this problem. We can expect that people in these areas like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, then Maharashtra, then Rajasthan, were the drought most likely to happen. There we can expect there won't be again a drought condition will happen. Nature has its own ways. We should respect and safeguard the environment without polluting it and destroying it. Yes, nature is our green friend. So nature has its own ways. We cannot control anything in the nature, because nature, what happens at any time we don't know. So we should respect the nature, at the same time we should safeguard. It's our duty to protect the nature without destroying it, without polluting it, because of some human activities, human beings, because clearing of forest, this deforestation, cutting of trees and all, creating more pollution in the nature. And because of the uses of more vehicles, because of the factory, from the factory smokes are coming, they're releasing smokes and waste to the rivers and all, polluting it. So try better from our side to protect the nature instead of destroying it or polluting it. Man with all his intelligence is able to safeguard himself against floods, but he is not able to produce, increase or reduce rainfall which causes floods. Yes, he is his intelligence, with his intelligence is trying his best to protect the means to against the floods. They are trying so that floods should not come, but they have no they won't able to produce or control or reduce the rainfall that cause the floods. Hence, nature still remains our master. Nature is our master. Yes, we they have control on us. Nature has control on us. We can't control the nature. Human beings, how much intelligence they have also. They cannot reduce rainfall. They cannot produce rainfall. Yes, so they are maximum from the level best they are controlling. They are trying to do something against these floods, but they can produce, or they can reduce, or they can increase the rainfalls. That's why it is said nature is our real master. So it's our duty to protect the nature. Protect the nature. It's our duty to safeguard the nature. We should not pollute it. We should destroy. We should not pollute the environment, the surroundings which we live. We should protect the environment. We should conserve the soil. We should save water. Yes, these resources we should conserve it. We should protect it instead of destroying it. Yes, so these are the ways by which we can control the droughts. So droughts are caused because of no or little rainfall. There are many areas that cause drought. Some drought prone areas are there. So scientific methods we are adopting nowadays to control this or to avoid this drought condition. If there are droughts, what happens? Crops failure, famine, no water, life become very difficult for the people. Yes, so it causes damage for the human beings. Yes, so ICRISAT, the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, it was established at Hyderabad. They are providing the big service to this direction. So we can expect in future that they control, or there won't be no longer droughts in any part of the area where droughts are likely to happen. But at the same time, we should control, or we should protect, we should safeguard our nature also, because nature is our real master. Yes.